Hi, everyone, and welcome to Marketing Mindset. I'm Madeline Evans, the marketing manager at Setup. At Setup, our mission is to connect marketers with the right people and the right resources. And one of the best ways we can do that is by learning directly from the experts shaping the industry every day. You may know our CMO Spotlight series where we feature top marketing leaders. Marketing Mindset is a little different. This series highlights the specialists, strategists, media managers, creatives, and operators who are making the magic happen on the ground floor every day. Because great marketing doesn't just happen in the C-suite, it happens through the mindset, creativity, and expertise of all of the people doing the work. Today, we're excited to talk to JD Jacobs, the manager of franchise marketing at Chicken Salad Chick. Hi, JD.
Hey Madeline, how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
I am so great and I am so excited to be talking to you. It's so wonderful to see worlds colliding because I know you in an artistic sense, doing improv, and now to have our marketing worlds collide is just really, really exciting. Please tell us about your organization, your role there, and your team.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, my name's JD. I'm with Chicken Salad Chick. So I've been with Chicken Salad Chick for going on 6 years now. I started in the ground floor, kind of, if you would like to call that, but with our corporate trainer position, it's a good position to kind of get your foot in the door. So I started there on the ops side, and I moved my way into marketing a couple years ago, and now I'm on my 6th year with the company, and I've been loving it. I'm the manager of the franchise marketing team, so I have four other franchise marketing consultants that do a great job that I work with, and we go all the way from opening new stores in Utah and Missouri to New York to Florida and then we're also doing brand wide campaigns, promotions, anything else you can think of. We're there helping stores both at a local level and at a macro brand level. So
Amazing. And you kind of already went into this a little bit because you said you started at the ground floor in training and then now you're on the marketing side, which is a really inspirational story to see you work your way up. Tell us a little bit about your career path and what interested you in marketing that led you to your career today.
yeah, funny thing is whenever I graduated at Auburn, I had went to so Chicken Salad Chick used to be our corporate office was in Auburn, and so I had like was one of those where it's like, okay, I really want to show them I'm interested in doing marketing there. So I went to the corporate office and dropped off my resume, and then I didn't hear anything back from there, but it led eventually to a corporate training position, which wasn't the marketing role that I wanted, but it was a foot in the door. It was something to get started right when I graduated college. So I started that. That was actually my first day was March 15th of 2020, which was the COVID day, the day that like you go into the office and they say everybody work from home for whoever knows how long. So that was my first day on the job. I went in and my boss told me, "Hey, just work from home. This COVID thing's going on. It'll blow over." And then I didn't meet any of my coworkers for the first 2 months of me working there. So it was really interesting journey. It was also interesting to see all of my friends from college that I graduated with getting furloughed, like getting jobs and then getting furloughed not even a month or two in. So I kind of was, whenever I graduated college, I was looking for a job. I found it. I was very happy. And then I kind of was immediately like, don't get comfortable, leave your bags packed because you're the bottom of the totem pole. Like you are the last person hired in this at this company. If they start furloughing, you're the guy on the chopping block. So but the good thing about Chicken Salad Chick is we ended up doing no furloughs within the entire corporation. In fact, the C-suites took a significant pay cut so they could afford to keep everybody in the corporate staff. And through the entire process, through COVID, we didn't lay anybody off. And so I've always felt like that was the brand investing in me early on when they had no reason to. Like I was literally just a guy who graduated at Auburn, and they took a chance on me and really showed investment in me. And I feel like that I've always not only that not that I owe it back to the company, but that I feel kind of inspired that somebody had my back for really no reason. So I was a corporate trainer for 3 years, and I got to travel the country a lot, open up stores, on the ops side. And I eventually wanted to get into marketing. So that was the goal. So I did that for 3 years. I moved over to the marketing side on the company marketing side where I helped manage our company stores in Atlanta. And then I moved over to the franchise side last year. And then that's where we are today.
remember when you got that promotion, which is really exciting. You're
Yes.
clearly killing it. I also think it shows something about your character that you were like, it's not my dream job, but I want to get my foot in the door. So that's really inspiring. And another thing that you said that I really loved is that this company clearly values you and the people that work for it, which creates that loyalty. Like you said, you don't necessarily have to work there, but you do feel like you owe it to them. You do feel an attachment, which is really, I feel rare that just people looking out for people. And I think that leads to more retention
Mhm.
and recruitment too, when you know that a company values you. So that's really amazing.
Absolutely.
So, with that whole journey that you've been on and through any successes and challenges through growing in your career, do you have any advice for other marketers?
Yeah, I actually was. I had a girl reach out to me on LinkedIn earlier this week. Actually, she had worked at the Chicken Salad Chick in the Kennesaw location, and she was just graduating college. And she was like, "Hey, I ran into you a couple times. Do you have any advice?" And my advice was like, "Don't feel like you have to get your dream payroll and your dream job right now at 23 years old. It's not going to happen. You're going to do that. You're going to set yourself up for failure. And really, it's okay to find something that leads into what you want it to be. I really think that a lot of times coming out of college, especially for me, my goal was to if I'm not making this much, I'm failing. And if I'm not doing this, and you just kind of create these imaginary timelines for yourself and these imaginary goals that it's okay to set goals, but it's also you need to be realistic. And that was my advice to her. I was like, look, you're probably going to want to do marketing. That's fine. If you want to do marketing with a specific company, let's say you want to go, work in Nike. Okay. You want to go work in Nike. Well, Nike's probably not hiring many marketing directors right out of college. You have to work your way there, either getting into the ground floor of the company you want to, or either finding a way to get in that field, whatever it is. But really, it's kind of like I've kind of viewed it. This is, not copywritten or anything, but I've always like said, like there's like an imaginary 10,000 trash bags rule. And what that is that you have to take out the trash 10,000 times before you get your next promotion, which means like you have to really put in your effort and get your hands dirty to get to where you want to be. And that's how I was when I was a trainer. And then when I went into my company marketing role, I was like, all right, time to do another 10,000 trash bags. You're always on that mindset that like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not coasting. I'm here to not only improve where I'm working, but also continue improving myself and helping others where and just taking out the trash every time. No one wants to take out the trash, but someone's got to do it. And so that's kind of the mindset I've always been in, is that like you got to put in your dues somewhere, and try to keep putting in your dues as much as you can, because you're not ever at you're not ever done, I guess you could say.
That's great. I already see the TED Talk coming. Like you could write a book called like what, the 10,000
10,000
trash
trash
bags.
bags. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
The thing is, I've probably done more than 10,000 trash bags too. When I was at Auburn, I worked at the Auburn Arena, and guess what? There's a lot of trash bags in the Auburn Arena. So I
Is that
was
where the
that was
football,
that
is
was a
that where
basket.
football happens?
That's why I
Okay.
actually got this shirt from the Auburn Arena. Funny enough,
Oh my gosh. I've been to Auburn once and it was when they did the Hail Mary pass against UGA in
I
like
was I was
2000.
also there. That was great for me.
Yeah, that was a sad day.
That's not great
Go
for you.
Tigers.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Yay.
So what was woo yay. So what was a pivotal decision you made that had a major impact on your marketing career?
Yeah, I remember when I was on the training side, and there was a marketing position came open, a franchise marketing position, and that was more of the direction like, okay, that's what I want. And I applied for it, and I actually ended up not getting it. So I'd been with the company for 2 years. I applied for this role in our franchise marketing side, and I didn't get it. And so I kind of hit a good like crossroads. It's like I can be upset and go find a job somewhere else. I have a couple years under my belt. Maybe I can go get my foot in somewhere else, or I could stay true and just ask like, how can I get to where I want to get there? And the good thing is, being with a small company like Chicken Salad Chick, is I applied for marketing. I didn't get it, and so I went to ask the marketing director at the time, just what could I do? I know I don't have marketing experience, but I want to do it and I'm with the brand. So how can I do it? And her direction was kind of just like, just find out how to help us in marketing. It doesn't need to be craft our media plans for us, but like just find a way to help others on the team. And it was kind of at the same time, it was advice, but it was also a test, I feel like, because there was really nothing to go for from there, but I could at least be like, go to the people that I knew in that department and see how I could help. And so that's what I did. I went over there. I asked, they were like, you know what, we're making some TikToks. And so they brought me along to make a couple TikToks. And so funny enough, this was back in 2023. Me and another trainer, we did a TikTok that was the first TikTok on the brand page to hit over 300,000 views. And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. And so I did that. And then like a month or two later, they're like, all right, JD, we need to do another TikTok. You want to do this one? And so I was like, all right, let's do it. Like I'm here. And so like we would brainstorm ideas. They would pull me for things that they had ideas for, but then we would brainstorm ideas. And I was like, oh, let me go do this. So I ended up making about 6 or 7, TikToks with them. But I think and then the second one, they came to me and asked, let's do another TikTok. And that one got over 750,000 views. And so just like that, bam, these are the first, like our TikTok page was very small. We had about 1,000 followers, and now like it's just escalated since then. But it was kind of funny that like, I was just like, okay, TikTok's fun. I like making videos. I like being silly in videos. So let's do that. And we did it. And then they got bigger. And then the next marketing position that came open, I got it. And now I was never told that A plus B is the reason you got that. But I like to think that, I didn't tuck my tail and go home. First of all, when I didn't get the marketing job that I wanted, and I asked for advice, they kind of gave me a direction. And then you have to have that initiative too, which, kind of goes back to what I was saying about getting your foot in the door in places. Like having that initiative can really go a long way.
Yeah, I once heard the phrase be an asset, not a liability. And it sounds like you immediately were driven to be a part of something to help the company improve. So that's inspirational. Again, how can you fit in? How can you help? Do you still create any of the TikToks at all?
So funny enough, the last few I've been in weren't that great, but then we did one last year that I don't even know. It got to like 1.3 million views. And then I was like, all right, I gotta quit checking it. Like if people are commenting, making fun of my hair, they're like, who's this guy? So I'm like, okay, let's quit looking at the comments. But no, it got about 1.3 million, and then we done a couple after that, and then they're not getting as good. So it's like, sometimes they're big, sometimes they're not, but I think it's kind of fun just to like get in there. And honestly, at the end of the day, like however many views it has, it doesn't really matter a ton. I think what's most important is just that people are engaging with the brand, and it's like it's true, like we're putting in the effort to it. It's nothing that we're hiring actors, which nothing's wrong with that, but I just I like the being in the process of it because it is just kind of fun.
Yeah. And we talked about, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, how improv can be applicable to marketing. Maybe in 2023 you weren't doing improv, but what a beautiful way that you were doing the improv philosophy of yes and of just like, okay, you need me there? Great. And then I'm just going to go with the flow and then see what happens. And like you kept nailing it on the
Yeah.
head like over and over again. Really great.
I was yes ending before I knew what yes ending was. So
Heck yeah, you're born to play, you're born to do improv.
yeah.
So what in your marketing career has made you the most proud? It could be a campaign or an effort that stands out to you.
Yeah, I'll say the one that made me the most proud is actually happening right now, believe it or not. So last year we were working on a new flavor. So we're working on a flavor that's chicken salad mixed with dill pickles, with chopped up dill pickles. And so it's a great flavor. So whenever we did it last year, we were, brainstorming name ideas whenever we were testing it. We're like, I don't know, we could do this, we could do that. Somebody threw out the name like Pickle Spears. Somebody threw out the name Britney Spears, and I was like, it's not bad, but we was like, all right, let's see what other ideas we got. So we kept the whole marketing department was brainstorming, and finally I was like, you know what, my sister's name is Jill, and it's dill pickles. Why don't we go with Jill Pickle? And I sent that in. I sent that into the girl. And she's like, yeah, I'll bring it up in the next meeting. And she brought it up to the next meeting, and sure enough, that's what they went with. The next thing you know, that next week they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're using your flavor name. And I was like, oh, okay. And so right now we have a limited time flavor That's Jill Pickle. That started in March and ends at the end of May, and it's named after my sister. And so I think that was like one of the coolest moments. I think it was. I kind of got to the point where I won't shut up about it. I feel pretty bad. Like people are like, "All right, JD, we get it. When you named a flavor after your sister, cool." But I do think it is pretty cool because like my sister's like my best friend, and she's always been a big supporter of the brand. She's always been a big supporter of me. So this is a way for me to show my support for her in a way. So
That is so sweet.
yeah,
What does a Jill pickle encompass? What
like
makes
the
it different from other ones?
like the flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like our chicken salad, but it's mixed with dill pickle. So none of our other flavors have like a few of our flavors have like sweet pickles in it, but this is the first one that has just chopped dill pickles. So what we do is we'll like get our pickle spears and we'll dice them or chop them up and then we'll mix it in our chicken salad. That's Joe Pickle and actually as of this taping, it is the top selling limited flavor we've ever had. So it's like people are loving it a lot, including me. I may be biased, but it's my favorite flavor.
Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah,
So,
it's exciting.
yeah, that's so exciting. I bet your family's so proud. That's so sweet.
Yeah, I think they were like, I guess it's cool. It's a chicken salad, but so I got
I
yeah.
would be honored. That is my go-to meal.
Yeah,
I
I think
love a chicken
they're
salad.
yeah, I think they're happy with it. So
So that's all really exciting stuff. So I'm curious what you wish were different about the marketing industry as a whole.
yeah, I think an interesting thing about the marketing industry is I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on the media side, the brand side, this and that. But I feel like a lot of times marketing will talk about how important service is, but it's never really done. Like the entire part of like the service, like you take Chicken Salad Chick, for instance, or you take any brand restaurant, you have restaurants in your mind right now that you think of that have good service and you go to those places for those service. You're not going to let's I mean take Chicken Salad Chick for instance. Like there's a chance you could see our advertisement when you turn on YouTube and go to Chicken Salad Chick. But most of the time, what you're doing is you're going there, you're having a good experience, you're having good service, everybody there is treating you nice, and then you're going to go back. And that's what it's just a constant. Like it's not necessarily like you can kind of get quantitative data on it and kind of see, oh, our service is this good, so this means that, and you can do that. But I think a lot of emphasis, a lot of times that bigger brands and marketing, they'll look at how to do this with our product, how to do this with our advertisements, how to do this. And at the end of the day, I feel like service itself and making sure that the guest experience doesn't get affected. Like whatever the guest needs, whether it's just like delivering orders at a specific time or doing something just outside of what the normal job duties are. I've just seen multiple times where like our brand goes beyond what we're supposed to be doing and it goes a long way with the guests. And we've seen that guest over and over again. And I feel like a lot of times marketers can get so much on their plate and they can be a little bit clouded in the mind and they forget that at the core like it's about the guest and treating them right. And so that's something that Chicken Salad Chick really values and that's something that I also value as well too.
Awesome. You're very relationship and human oriented, which leads me to my next question. You mentioned earlier, actually, you had given advice to that person on LinkedIn. Can you tell us a little bit about how you feel about mentorship?
I love mentorship. I'm actually I just anytime that anybody asks me how, I just think about me at their age. Like I remember when I was 23 and I graduated college and I called my cousin and my cousin, he's 15 years older than me. We worked at Amazon, made a lot of money, and now he's retired at like 40. And I remember calling him and just getting advice because I was kind of scared and I didn't want to admit that I was scared, but honestly when you're getting ready to graduate college, you don't have a job lined up, it gets pretty scary. And I just remember the way like he was talking to me, not like he was this pedestal guy who made a lot of money and he was preaching to me. No, it was more like he was like sitting right next to me and being like, all right, well, what do you value? What do you want to do here? What do you want to do there? And I remember just the conversation was like he had really put a lot of effort into like seeing where my mindset was when I was 23. And so now you're getting, some random person gets ready to leave it, leave college at 23 and they're ready to hit a world on their own. And like they're scared, like they may not want to admit it, but like, or they may have other emotions. Maybe they feel guilty leaving another job, or maybe they feel complacent, or maybe whatever it is. And I think like the mentorship, whenever people ask me stuff like that, I really value what they're saying. And at the same time, like I try to put myself in their shoes too, because I know that there's a good chance that this person could follow a career path and be exactly where I'm at or better, So I think mentorship is incredibly important. I try to instill it a lot. Even outside, like I work with a great team of marketing consultants and I try to mentor them and help them as much as I can. And then I will look outside of that and I say, okay, how can I mentor this team member who messaged me on LinkedIn? How can I mentor this person who I did a I did a partnership with 2 years ago and they need help? How can I, help other people in however I can? And so I kind of put a lot of value into that and effort into doing the best I can.
Amazing. How does purpose drive marketing efforts within your organization?
Our purpose at Chicken Salad Chick is to spread joy, enrich lives, and serve others. And I think that purpose is something that's like it's repeated a lot, and it's not necessarily repeated like we don't stand up at the start of the day and say the Pledge of Allegiance and then the purpose. No, it's something that like we bring up because when we're hired, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people who can spread joy, who have a service minded heart, who have they're thinking about others. They're not necessarily looking to hold all the joy in. They're looking to spread it. That may sound a little cheesy and cliche, but like really, like when it comes to people coming in the office, I know whenever I'm interviewing people, whenever other people in the office are interviewing people, we're looking for people that have that mentality, that they're able to live the purpose and they don't really have to be convinced of it in a way. There's some brands that like Disney, for instance. I feel like when Disney hires people, they're not getting people who are angry at the world and are very negative and love to complain about things. They're bringing people in who are automatically like they have the positive attributes of that company already. Like they don't have to be taught that. And I think that that's something that at Chicken Salad Chick we put a lot of effort into doing as well. And in my role, I've just interviewed a few people so far, but I'm the same way. Like that's something that I value. I can teach you the job. Like we can teach you how to do your job, but at the end of the day, we can't teach you how to spread joy and rich lives and serve others. Like you have to come in with that already in your heart. And that's what our goal is to keep doing that.
Mindset is everything. And oh my gosh, I love that your value is to spread joy. That is so important in this
No.
world. And you're doing the work. Uh, so, with that, it seems like you guys really pursue authenticity. What strategies do you find most effective in creating authentic and emotional connections with consumers? And how do you tailor your brand story and those values to resonate across different platforms?
That's a good point. That's I think one thing that's important is, a lot of times brands can kind of get caught up in trends and then whenever they're posting this or posting that, you can in a way almost see the brand kind of lose the vision of who they are. I think we've seen that a few times where brands change something up just because it's supposed to be modern, just because it needs to be renovated, and that goes against what their brand was. I mean, Cracker Barrel did it last year. You can bleep it out if you want to, but we all like that was an obvious one that they went against who they truly are. And so I feel like knowing who the brand is important at first. And then the story, like Chicken Salad Chick's story goes back to Stacy Brown, who was the chicken salad selling chick, who is a single mom going door to door and selling chicken salad. And 20 years later, here we are at 320 restaurants. So like the story starts off with someone who's hardworking, someone who's determined, someone who is spreading joy, enriching lives, and serving others by making this chicken salad in her restaurant, going door to door. And so 20 years later, the story still stays the same. The story doesn't change. And the story still is at its core. This is a hardworking person. This is somebody who wants to make lives better. And this is someone who like is making fresh chicken salad every single day. And so like you have those things at its core, and some brands change their story a lot. Some brands have, spokespeople and whatever that switch with the year. But I think at the end of the day, the story is gonna be true to who the brand is. And I feel like we put a lot of effort into doing that, making sure the story, you know, is still, parallel to who we are, and also the brand altogether.
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that origin story, and that made me genuinely, I'm like tearing up over here because I feel like people can really see themselves in that story, and that's really incredible. So thank you for sharing
There's
that.
a podcast. So Guy Raz with NPR, he does a podcast called How I Built This, and
Yes.
and back in 2018 or 2019, he had Stacy on, and this is early on. I mean, I think there was probably 120 chicken salad chicks at the time, and he had Stacy on it, and it was such a captivating story. Like it was, or not captivating, but it was like emotional. Like Stacy was crying during it, and it was such an emotional story that when Guy Raz wrote a book, he wrote his book How I Built This Book back in 2021. He starts off the entire book with the Stacy story, like with him coming home from work, his wife's crying, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? Did somebody pass? Like what happened?" And she was just listening to the Stacy story. Like that's how the book starts off. He's talking about every single interview he's ever done, and that's how the book starts off. And so the story is important. Like the story is a sad story. The story has a lot of emotions and tied to it, but at the same time, at its core, it's a hardworking mom, single mom who wanted to make the world a better place, and that's something that we still hold true to us.
Yeah, inspirational too. Anyone can see themselves in that. What a story to encourage people to stay driven in your role right now, but also to create your own thing. If you're passionate enough and if you want to make a change, like that's just so touching. I can't wait to listen to that interview. That's really cool. So, how do you ensure your marketing strategy stays ahead of these consumer trends and preferences? Can you share a campaign that successfully adapted to a changing trend?
That's on that end, I think there's a lot. I'm not going to be the best on this one. I'll go ahead and tell you that one. But uh, I think there's a lot of good media things that we end up doing. When it comes to trends, we do have a development team that sees what the trends are in terms of what flavors are popular now, what's something that people are going to crave now that's outside of the ordinary. And so we do put a lot of effort into our limited time flavors, our what we're offering to really kind of spice up what we're offering in the stores. And we put a lot of effort into that. And we're not just looking at what people like right now. What the data tells us is people are going to like in the next 6 months. And so that's why Joe Pickle, like people love pickle right now. And we have some more exciting things, like some more flavors that are going to come up. And, if we talk in a year and we're going to talk about more limited time flavors we have, there's a chance that we bring them up and I'm like, well, these are awesome. These are better than Jill Pickle ever could be. So
Great. We've talked a lot about joy. So, what brings you joy in marketing or otherwise?
I think, when I remember when I was in college, I was like, marketing could be cool. It could be cool to come up with some ideas and just, I love being creative. I take improv classes. You got to be creative. You love creativity. You love being creative and you're in marketing. So there you go. So I've liked that idea of being creative in marketing. And then when you get into marketing, it's kind of, there are creative aspects to it, but there's a lot of person to person aspects to it. And I think that's one thing that makes just marketing as a whole very joyful. I just love talking to people. I love interacting with people, whether it's making, some stupid joke or it's just talking about how we're going to get their stores to hit a certain sales number or goal they want to reach. Like there's a lot of it's just with all the franchisees, there's different ways to talk to people, and there's also different ways to talk to people that are in the office, like the people you work with. And marketing is one of those departments where hey, you're doing a lot of talking. Like you're gonna be talking to a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. And honestly, like I'm an extroverted person. I love it. I love talking to people. I go to an event and I'm just yapping away, and that's something that I also feel like is one of my passions is talking, helping people, being involved with people. I do like that part of the job. I've always found it to be one of the most rewarding parts of it for sure.
So, JD, besides being an amazing collaborator, mentor, colleague, and it could be that could be your answer. What is your secret sauce? What is your superpower?
My secret sauce. I don't know. Whenever I saw that question, I was like, is my secret sauce like Cholula or something? Is that a good answer? Like I actually just say it's like it's spicy mustard or something. That's what the secret sauce is. Just give some random sauce in my refrigerator. Uh, yeah, when it comes to secret sauce, I don't really know what my secret sauce is. Uh, do I have time to ask you? Can I ask you what your secret sauce is, Madeline?
My secret
Yeah, what are
sauce?
you as a person? I want to hear what your secret sauce is at setup.
I see why that's a hard question. I think, I mean, I've heard you throughout this whole interview kind of answer for yourself what it is. Like, I think your drive, ability to do anything. I know you're asking about me, but I love to hype other people up. Um, I do fit into many roles at Setup and just in general in life. I think I have an ability to bring people together, which is what Setup does in general.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a beautiful thing that, like, the job that I do during the day, which is all about being marketing matchmakers, is what I love to do all the time. Like when it comes to relationships and love, when it comes to somebody being like, oh, I need a roommate, or I need to be connected to this sort of industry or person. Like I'm always like, oh, thinking about, oh, I know this person and that person would plug in nicely. Or even like in my teaching and improv, like I want there to be community when we leave. I want to connect them with the rest of the community so that everyone can kind of know each other and lift each other up. So connector, I think, would be a big part of who I am. And it's kind of cool because my boss just wrote a book called The Connector's Compass. So connection is a huge one for us. Now your turn.
Does it have your face on it? Is your face is on the book? Um, that's awesome. That's a great answer. I would say my secret sauce really comes down to mhm. You did say kind of say your like flexibility and malleability. Like there's the ability to kind of be wherever you need to be and whoever you need to be. I think there's a lot of value in that. But I think for me, really, I find my secret sauce just kind of comes with talking to people. I feel like whatever that is, and finding a way to help somebody in some way, whether that's make their day a little bit better or help them by getting whatever marketing media plan they wanted or whatever it may be. I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of opportunities to make someone's day better, whether that's like actually working or whether that's just personal connection. And I think when I'm working, I put in a lot of effort into making people's day better in whatever way I can, whether that's a smile, whether that's a laugh, or whether that's 2% comp growth. Who knows? But I do think that that's kind of my secret sauce is like just finding a way to make someone's day, someone's job just a little bit better.
We need more people like you out there, JD. That is amazing. And even just talking to you now, like I've known you for a while, but I just love hearing you talk about your job and your passion. It makes me want to be more passionate about everything and just like greet the world with so much kindness and
Yeah.
openness. You're really awesome. So, last question. What is the marketing mindset mean to you?
I think the marketing mindset really has to go with what's your intentions with the marketing, like whether it's what's your mindset in terms of what why are you doing this campaign? Why are you doing whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a promotion or you're getting to your guests? Is the intention to strengthen the brand? Is it to improve growth? Well, I mean, everybody's is like that. Everybody's is that. So I think that you also at the same time, like those can be kind of your goals, but I think your mindset really has to come down to um, being true to not only who the brand is, but also to your guests. I think that comes a long way with it as well. Um, I feel like a lot of times, marketing, you can have a mindset where it's a little bit not necessarily negative, but a little bit manipulative. And I think that that's important to not to make sure that you're not going that route. That whatever you're doing, you're ended up having the mindset to help your guests in whatever way that is. Not cutting corners, not finding shortcuts, even if no one else knows about it. It's really kind of being there to help out who your true audience is.
Incredible. Yeah. So, and it sounds like very customer service based, which
Mhm.
I think we should be. Sometimes we get so caught up in things that we forget who we're serving. And so it seems like you're
Yeah.
very serve the customer, what they need, what they resonate with. Well, thank you so much, JD, for being a part of the marketing mindset. We were so happy to have you, and we can't wait to spread more joy, just like Chicken Salad Chick.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.